I think a spot on our bingo card that no one was expecting is all of these illegals who, we talk about the rapes and the murders and the Lake and Rileys of the world and all of these ways that illegal immigration is affecting the country negatively. But one of the ones that I don't think anyone thought about that is now a big problem are these illegals getting commercial driver's licenses and operating, 18-wheelers, which is kind of a problem. It's kind of having deadly consequences. You see there's this crash right here that 3 people were killed in it. Police say that the driver was intoxicated, which is not a great idea when you drive a giant truck. And this is the driver, Jashanpreet, Star Wars name, an illegal from India. He came into California in 2022, released under Joe Biden. Obviously, you had another person from India who was driving a semi-trailer in Florida. You see him just pull a Yui on the highway, car smashed into it. 3 Americans died. But wait, there's more. There's more. How could we forget about the illegal immigrant trucker charged with killing newlyweds in Oregon? This was Rajinder Kumar. Gosh, it's so weird. I'm noticing a weird trend on these names. Anywho, released into the country by Biden as well. So the question is, who the hell is issuing these CDLs and how are these people obtaining them so easily? My next guest, Frontline's TPUSA reporter Savanah Hernandez, actually made a documentary to find that very thing out.
I tell everyone that I talk to that the Google reviews on CDL schools are a goldmine of intel. You can type in your state or city, find the CDL schools, and then just look at the Google reviews because those students will leave reviews and they will put in there how long they went to the school.
زه د ټکساس پیسټن څخه راغلی یم.
جګان ایالت څخه راغلی میوټا ایالت کینګسي ډیل ته سکول ته 2 هفته کېږي دلته مې درس شروع کړو.
We ended up finding CDL schools located in places such as Ohio and Michigan that were advertising CDL programs in 6 different languages, including Arabic, Somali, and Hindi. We found reviews of students written in broken English or sometimes in a completely different language, stating that they were able to get their CDL in just 10 days. Videos of recent graduates were also posted advertising their new CDL certificates, oftentimes in different languages, and one school in Ohio was even offering free housing to people on TikTok, writing, "Ohio brother, we have house for stay for free." Now, what we found was definitely concerning.
When you take an individual who's not American and they come here and they find out that they're paid by the mile, if you're paid by the mile, you want to get as many miles as possible, as fast as you possibly can. And so the idea of safety or anything kind of goes out the window. So it's totally changed how drivers have been paid. The Americanized or the Canadianized immigrants who got here are turning around, realizing that they can make more money by going back to their home country, recruiting people who $400 a week might be a lot of money for them. They're turning around and recruiting them to bring them over here and then have them work to the bone.
Welcome to the show, Savanah Hernandez, the beautiful, the one and only. And I can add to your title. You are Frontline's TPUSA reporter and apparently documentary filmmaker.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, I have worked the most extensively on this project than I ever have on another project in my life, because I really thought I was just going to ask the question, how are illegals getting CDLs, and get a simple answer? But what I uncovered was a web of fraud so vast that we are talking the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration relaxing regulations so that these migrants could open CDL schools more easily. We're talking PPP loan fraud. We are talking, every single aspect of trucking being completely overrun by illegal immigrants or sometimes legal immigrants who are importing people in to undercut the American trucker and the American trucking business, creating the unsafe environments that we have today.
Yeah, this feels like me right now. It feels like me with the H-1B stuff where I'm like, you just keep peeling back a layer and you find more and more and more fraud and more just corrupt dealings. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So I completely understand where you're coming from on that and how it can take up so much of your time. So tell me, what was the most egregious fraud that you guys uncovered in this documentary?
Sure. So I would honestly say just what's been happening in the entire trucking industry for the last 10 years. And I'll, of course, encourage people to watch the doc, but let me go ahead and give a quick summary. Basically, back in 2022, the FMCSA went ahead and allowed CDL schools to start self-certifying, meaning that there was really no government oversight and anybody could open a CDL school and be like, yeah, we're legitimate. Amazing. And then the FMCSA, and again, this is all under the Biden administration, they then decided, hey, by the way, we're also going to allow you guys to do third-party testing. So instead of going to the DMV to take your CDL test, we're going to give you a certificate at the school. You're going to take it to the DMV, and then you get your CDL license that way. Now, these CDL schools, before all of these regulations were relaxed, we had about 2,100 CDL schools, Sarah, nationwide. After the FMCSA, which again is tasked with federal motor carrier safety, after they relaxed that, the CDL schools jumped up to 32,000 nationwide.
Wow.
Okay, so that's what you're seeing on screen, where you have all of these migrant-run CDL schools, and it's crazy because these migrants have created an entire ecosystem, right? So basically, the way the migrants get over here is by being sponsored by a trucking company, which, by the way, is also migrant owned. They get sponsored by a migrant trucking company. They go to a migrant CDL school. They work for said trucking company. And then, we were even finding fraud in which, like, the people who work for the trucking insurance companies are also migrants. And so it's like everything is connected.
Oh my gosh.
It was absolutely insane to see all of this. And this was just one aspect of it, right? You also have the issues with DOT numbers, which anybody can very easily get. And what these migrants do is once they bring people over here, they have them apply for a DOT number. Now, that DOT number is supposed to be registered to one trucking company. And let's say your trucking company gets into a crash, right? You're tied to that number and all of your other trucks are tied to that number. Well, these migrants have registered sometimes to hundreds of DOT numbers, and then they just switch out the number. And the trucks are on the road the same exact day as that trucking crash has happened. And it's why we are seeing such a huge uptick in these horrific semi-crashes, specifically with illegal immigrants or migrants across the U.S.
And again, this is a situation I was on with Sean Spicer earlier, and he asked us, we're kind of like grading the State of the Union, and asked us, okay, prioritize these issues that the president touched on. And one of them, of course, was the CDL for illegals. And I'm like, what? I just don't even, I couldn't even have imagined that we would be living in a world in which this was now an issue. But it is because you're giving these guys keys to a gigantic, deadly weapon, and they're killing innocent Americans. So it's like, it's just something that I just never thought in a million years would be like an issue that I wanted Congress to take up and deal with. And now it's one of the most important issues. Obviously, there are big issues everywhere, but this is a huge deal because the thought that some innocent American family can just be driving down the road, minding their own business and get mowed down by some irresponsible, illegal or migrant or whatever the hell you want to call them and not stand a chance, that is incredibly terrifying.
And Sarah, the reason why I was interested in this is because I live here in Austin, and on the I-35 last year, we had who was either Eritrean or Ethiopian migrant. This man slammed into completely stopped traffic. He caused an 18-car pileup. He killed a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. And that's why I initially got interested in this, because I was like, how the hell did this happen? And it's funny because the police, this guy was driving so badly, the police initially thought that he was under the influence of drugs or alcohol. His toxicology report came back and it was all clean. The guy that you actually were just talking about at the beginning of your segment here, where, people initially reported that guy was on drugs as well. He wasn't. His toxicology report came back clean. They're just that bad at driving that you can be completely stopped. And they're like, yeah, I think I pressed on the gas right now. And we're now living through a period in which, you have headlines like Congress no longer allowing illegal immigrants to drive 80,000-pound deadly semi-trucks while not being able to read road signs. And you're like, I'm sorry, what?
Right.
Why were we allowing that in the first place?
Right. Yeah, that was a thing that we were allowing. I mean, just in the headline that you read, I could definitely guarantee you that should not have happened. And somehow it's happening. So this A1 CDL training school apparently has taken down their entire TikTok page since your reporting. They had this.
I know,
the one that
I
you
guess
showed. They went bye-bye after Savanah Hernandez hit them.
I'm really sad that they took down their TikTok page of hundreds of migrants advertising their CDL school in foreign languages. I mean, I thought we were advertising this school to Americans, but another CDL school lost, and the DOT has been doing a good job of trying to shut down these schools. But again, we had 2,100. That number is now 32,000, and this is a nationwide issue. And then you also have the added aspect of California, New York, even Texas, issuing these non-domiciled CDLs to migrants who, again, shouldn't be behind the wheel. And I say migrant, not just illegal, because we have to keep in mind, too, that there have been a lot of loopholes to bring these people over here legally. And so we really need to highlight that and not just focus in on the illegal immigrant issue, because this is a migrant issue. Unqualified migrants, oftentimes, too, being exploited and brought in by other migrants to be exploited. This was a story just out of San Antonio, Sarah. You had two Hispanic men who were American citizens. They brought in immigrants from Mexico and they exploited them. And they said, we are going to turn you into ICE if you don't keep working for us. And so not only is this the, exploitation of migrants, which oftentimes they make them keep driving way past the hours that are legal. And then a lot of these guys are falling asleep at the wheel, causing crashes. But then at the same time, when it comes to American truckers and American businesses, they can't compete with the migrants who are working for a quarter of what they, are offering their services for to have safe trucking on the road.
Yeah, no, you are speaking my language. Like I said, this is the entire H-1B problem as well, is that we are farming this out to completely unqualified, IT professionals or whatever the hell the job is. And it turns out that there's a bunch of fraud that's happening. So they're not even qualified for the position that they hold. And then they're bringing more people over here. And we're ending up with a bunch of foreign workers that are really shitty and inexperienced and are causing problems. When you translate what I'm talking about with the H-1B over to an 18-wheeler, it becomes a much more deadly situation that we need to get a tamper on now. So tell everyone where they can find it.
Go on, Sav says on my X account, go follow or go find it there on the Frontlines TPUSA page as well. And Sarah, that meme where it's like the Lion King and it's Simba and it's like everything the light touches is us. That's America, except everything the light touches is fraud.
Yes.
Everything is fraud.
Yep. Yeah, no, you're right. I yearn for the day that we can uncover all of this fraud. I mean, we would be talking about millions upon millions of people who are removed from our country if we really were serious, if this government was really serious about rooting out fraud and getting to the core of the problem. I think Americans would be incredibly surprised at just how bad it's gotten. I appreciate your great work, Sav. It's going to take all of us exposing all of the issues with the legal immigration system now that President Trump has closed down the border. So I appreciate all of your great work. Everyone, go check out the documentary. It's incredible. Savanah's incredible and beautiful and talented and all the things. I love you, girl. Keep on keeping on.
Thanks, Sarah. You're my ultimate hype man. I love coming on this show.
All right. Love you. Talk soon. See ya.
Thanks, girl.